also have in our midst this morning the coordinator of the bursary of the university, Mr. Emmanuel Awogbimi. There is no way you can study successfully without a well-furnished library and somebody who also knows his onions heading that important part of the university. We have in our midst this morning the coordinator of the university library, Dr. Biliamin Bokboola. University and teaching hospitals all over the world are like a Siamese twin. One cannot exist without the other, because without the complementary effort of the university, we won't be able to produce any medical person, let alone claiming that we want to induct them into their professions. We have the Chief Medical Director of the UNIMED Teaching Hospital in our midst this morning, Dr. Michael Bala. The Dean Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation, where physiotherapy is actually domiciled, is also present in our midst this morning and is wearing 2 caps today. Is also standing in for the chairman, Central Induction Committee of the university. Is a man with 2 caps here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Professor Teslim Onibinde. I'm sure the noise is for being the dean of the faculty and also for what he has done for the inductees over the years. He's also representing Professor Wasiu Olalekan Adebimpe. That's to tell you how scholarly he can be. I recognize the Registrar Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Board of Nigeria, Professor Rufai Yusuf Ahmad, ably represented by the Deputy Registrar, Mr. Adedoyin Michael Akinyele. We have the HOD of the department. There's something peculiar about the HOD. I wonder how she has been able to navigate through the detours down to today. I know, I want you to clap for her especially, and the reason is this. The HOD is on maternity leave. She abandoned maternity leave to ensure that this event is successful. She has done. Dr. A.D. Afolabi. Thank you very much, ma'am. Also, I'm looking towards the extreme end. We also have in our midst our guest lecturer from the Obafemi Awolowo University. You will get to know more about him when we get to his turn to speak. I recognize Professor R.A. Adedoyin. Also, the HOD Physiotherapy, UNIMED TH, Dr. Ogunleye Ibirunke is also in our midst. We have also HOD Physiotherapy, General Hospital, Ondo, Dr. Olayinka Afolabi. Who are the people? They are excellent. I don't know them, the last 2. I also have here a professional elder, Director of Physiotherapy Services, Mrs. Olashehinde. We have Neuro Rehabilitation President, Dr. Muiwa Adejugbagbe, represented by Mr. Olayiwola. And we have some people who came with the MRTB registrar also in the house, the head of inspectorate department, MRTB, Mr. Magaji Rabiu. Also representative of Institute Department, MRTB, Mrs. Adenuga Familola. Representing who?
He's representing the Akapen.
Who is Akapen?
Professor Kafo.
Okay, I'll find it. The information reaching me asked me to bring to the front Mrs. Olashainde should please come to the front. That's professional elder, director of physiotherapy services. Madam, I guess she's not in the hall. Okay, she is. Please a round of applause for her. She comes to the front. And you must know why you need to clap. When they say somebody is a professional elder, that means a whole lot in any profession. Let's encourage her as she comes to the front.
This person is representing the
I recognize Professor Kayode Oke representing the AKPM president, Professor Kafo. Please a round of applause for him. Also there. I recognize the NSP president, Dr. Odesonya Felix, represented by Mrs. Akindoyin Oluwabukola Debra. Please pardon me, you see all sorts of handwritings when you are introducing people, some legible, some not so legible, but you just have to bear with us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I recognize all the academic staff in the hall today. Please a round of applause for them. They are well robed. Thank you very much. And I recognize the Dean Student Affairs seated in the front, Dr. Kumolalo. Please a round of applause for him. All the members of staff of the university are recognized, and especially I recognize all the parents in-house. Without them, maybe we will not have any inductee today. They are so special, and I love the way you have dressed, immaculately dressed and well-robed, celebrating. Today's occasion is actually for celebrating. Please give it to them. A round of applause for all our parents in the house. Thank you very much. And I must not fail to recognize the VIP that we have in this hall today. And the VIP, they are the inductees. They have worked very hard to ensure that today actually comes to play. You are, please give it to yourselves. You have done well and you deserve it. You deserve it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for time, I'm going to pause introduction at this point. When I come back, I will still introduce people as they come in. Right now, I want to call on the man wearing two caps, but he's coming here to use the cap of the Dean, Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation, to welcome everybody formally to this induction ceremony. Please let's put our hands together as I call on Professor Teslim Onigbinde to give
Thank you so much. The Vice Chancellor, other principal officers, deans, directors, and heads of departments and units, professors and other members of staff, the registrar and other members of the Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Registration Board of Nigeria, the induction lecturer, Professor Adedoyin, the representative of the Association of Clinical and Academic Physiotherapists of Nigeria, the inductees, parents and well-wishers, ladies and gentlemen, It is another great moment to felicitate and rejoice with physiotherapy graduating class. Today marks the end of the 5 years rigorous training in physiotherapy for class 2024-2025. I would like to use this moment to congratulate the management of this great citadel of learning under the leadership of Professor Adedoyin for the sustenance of efforts and initiatives that made it possible to train and produce the fifth set of physiotherapy within 11 years of establishment of UNIMED. This is a great feat that are here to come by. This university has indeed proven itself to be a one-stop shop for all medical and health-related courses in Nigeria and Africa at large. As the Dean of the First Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation in Nigeria, I am confident to say that the UNIMED initiative in bridging the gap for the training and development of all medical rehabilitation professions, and this cannot be overemphasized. Not only are we graduating our fifth set of physiotherapy students today, but in few weeks, we will be graduating the first set of traditional doctor of physiotherapy program, first of its kind in Nigeria, if not in Africa. Also, we have commenced the process of phasing out Bachelor of Physiotherapy program and switched fully to Doctor of Physiotherapy, as we have admitted 3 sets of students into our Doctor of Physiotherapy program. Dear inductees, physiotherapy profession has evolved to be a profession of repute, and here at UNIMED, it is topmost in our priority. And this is to train students who will meet the required global standard of practice. The inductees of today recorded 100% pass in professional examination. The inductees of today recorded 100% pass in professional examination conducted by the Medical Rehabilitation Board of Nigeria. This is a true litmus test for the standard of our training at UNIMED. Thanks to my colleagues in the faculty for this feat. However, you should know that your bachelor's degree is a starting point. And in the next few years, shortly after your NYC, we are expecting you to return here to transit your bachelor's certificate into a doctor of physiotherapy program, or consider any of our postgraduate programs at UNIMED for your career progression. As professionals, there are several landmarks of professional ethics and conduct that you must not change. Ensure that in all your practice, make the health and well-being of your patients a great priority at all times. And do not at any point be involved in any behavior that will tarnish the image of the physiotherapy profession or the University of Medical Sciences where you were trained. Relate well with all senior and junior colleagues with respect. Be in good rapport with all members of all the multidisciplinary healthcare team. As fresh graduates, do not let anyone despise your little beginning. Just like people are saying, the young shall grow. We all started somewhere, and here we are today. Do not be ashamed to learn and ask questions from senior colleagues on new techniques or modalities being used in clinical practice, because this will form a greater part of your skill and proficiency. Attend professional conferences where you always learn recent trends and network with professional colleagues across the globe. I would like to appreciate all members of staff, both teaching and non-teaching of the Department of Physiotherapy, who have contributed tremendously to the training of these students and made them one of the best physiotherapists that we produce on the soil of Nigeria. Finally, I want to appreciate the induction lecturer for his presence in our midst today, despite his busy schedule. Thank you for accepting the invite. I facilitate with the registrar and other members of the board who will be adding fresh 59 physiotherapists to the registrant list. Indeed, the medical rehabilitation profession are getting larger and wider by the day. To our guests, parents, friends, and families, I congratulate you for witnessing this great day to celebrate the reward of your labor over these inductees. The journey that started a few years ago is coming to an end today. I pray you will live to see many of their great days. Amen. After this event, I wish you a great journey back to your various destination, and I use the opportunity to welcome you to the wall of University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. Long live the Department of Physiotherapy, long live Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation, long live the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. Thank you.
That was a confident speech for the dean to say it openly that they have produced the best physiotherapists on the soil of Africa. I think that's a bold claim. And hold on, why you need to appreciate that kind of speech is this. I remember sometime last week, we were doing induction ceremony at Odoshida, and I started feeling some pain at my back, and I walked up to him. If this induction must continue, this thing must stop. But I'm feeling some ache. And you know, science of movement, that's what I've come to realize about physiotherapy. And I recall his inaugural lecture too, when he told us the power of the fingers, what the fingers can do. He just told me, do X, Y, Z. And I did. As if he kept it there, the thing disappeared. So, I understand what he's saying. Okay, we have the best faculty that you can think of anywhere. These are the best you can find at the moment. Once again, a round of applause for the Dean of the faculty. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring to this side quickly the Chief Medical Director, University of Medical Sciences Teaching Hospitals, Ondo, Dr. Michael Bala, for his remark.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank Vice Chancellor, all the principal officers of the university, also Registrar, ably represented, all faculty members, parents, inductees, all the lecturers, everyone who is here this morning, and I'd like to also adopt all the established protocol. I want to congratulate the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, for this great achievement. The fifth set in how many years? 10, 11 years. I think the university deserves a big round of applause. All the lecturers, the management of the university, parents, students who have made this a reality, especially the government of Ondo State, past and present. When the being said that the best set on the soil of Nigeria is not an exaggeration. To be trained in this university, in this teaching hospital, you are exposed to perhaps the best around this region. We are grateful to government of Ondo State for the support given to both the university and the teaching hospital. I can say with emphasis, with confidence, that when you come back for your internship, what you perhaps be seeing will be different from what you train with. Because government is making massive investment into the teaching hospital. That you, if you are clapping, go ahead and clap, please. It deserves a round of applause. And you'll be glad you have your internship with us. So I'm inviting you to come and do your internship. I need a large bulk of you to come and do your internship. Until last year, we were unable to do internship here. We approached government and graciously, several spaces were given to us such that you can have your internship done with us. I think sometimes in December, I'll be expecting you to come for your interview so that by January you can start your precisely third week in December, come for your interview, I think 18, 19 December. So after today, maybe when you go this week, go and rest with parents and rejoice. From next week, come and start dropping your applications. By 18, 19 December, you gather your interview so that by January, why not? Come and start, and as you have heard from the Dean, learning continues. We are happy with what you are doing. We just want to tell you, all you have learned and what you'll be told by the council today, please keep to the ethics of the profession. Be good ambassadors of the profession. Your teachers have done so well, and we have reasons to really be proud of them. Please, as you come into the profession, be an addition. I will pray God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm actually surprised that we are not excited. That's like an open, you've just been given an open check. Go back home after today, go and rejoice, rest, and later come back to the university. That's an open check that the CMD has just given to you. It's like absorbing you immediately. Don't go out there and say you are looking for jobs, because we believe so much in the kind of training we have given to you. Thank you so much, sir. Please a round of applause for Dr. Michael Bala. It is time to listen to the Vice Chancellor of the university. It is time for the Vice Chancellor to charge us. It is time for the inductees to have the opportunity of listening to the Vice Chancellor formally. Okay. She came when you guys were about wrapping up, and you are lucky that she's here. She made a promise yesterday that no matter what, she will be at this induction ceremony. We have had a program this morning, and we left the program again rushing down to this place. I think your set is such a lucky set. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Professor Ebunoluwa Adedoyin, Fellow Nigeria Academy of Medicine.
Good morning, everybody. I wasn't happy when the Chief Medical Director promised us jobs and nobody was excited. I hope it's not what I'm thinking of. I hope you have changed your mind. You are staying behind to take care of us. His Excellency, the Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa, the visitor to the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, the Chancellor, the Oshemawe of Ondo, our Pro-Chancellor, Professor Ayo Arowojolu, principal officers of the university, the registrar of the Medical Rehabilitation Therapy Board, ably represented, our guest speaker, the dean, our able dean, we will not japa. Our able dean will not japa. Dean, did you hear that? So it's not only our students who are japaing. Our people are japaing, so let me beg them to stay. They are begging you to stay. The HOD, the able HOD, the nursing mother who decided to come and care for her children. Thank you so much. My brother, the Chief Medical Director, Professor Michael Bala. Thank you for all you do. Our proud parents who have endured night and day, not only looking for money, but also praying for these ones, because physiotherapy is not an easy course. I'm sure parents can attest to it. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the inductees of today, it gladdens my heart that the Department of Physiotherapy is inducting the 5th set of graduating students into the profession after 11 years. After just 11 years of the establishment of this teaching of this university. You may not be aware of this, but there are so many states and private universities that have attempted this, but they never saw the light of day. But you were not asked to change universities. You were not asked to change your courses because we can no longer continue. I think we should give you another round of applause to the university. Physiotherapy is a healthcare profession that is focused on restoring, maintaining, and maximizing movement, function, and overall well-being for individuals who are affected by injury, by illness, or disability. It uses evidence-based methods such as exercise or the magic that was performed on our PRO, sometimes even education to address physical challenges, to reduce pain, and to improve mobility. Profession has experienced remarkable growth globally, and I say in particular in Nigeria, thanks to the University of Medical Sciences for being among the institutions who started the upscale of physiotherapy in Nigeria. Please give the government a hand of applause. And I think we have the best students. When a class of 100 score 100%, I mean, what else do we want? This is an evidence that the teachers that taught them are also 100% excellent. Please give the teachers a round of applause for this. This outstanding performance is clear evidence that our inductees shall continue to be what the market is looking for, and therefore we cannot stop them from jackpotting. We can only wish them that God will be with them. The scope of physiotherapy practice has expanded, as has been said by the dean, and therefore we are just beginning. We have not gotten to the end of the journey, and as we have been invited to come back for your postgraduate studies, please, the door is open. Come in for further studies in this area so you can be like your professors and your lecturers. Nigeria has become a recruitment hub for physiotherapists. We all know that. Migrating to Western countries. We need you here. We need you to also go abroad, to enlarge your own scope, to know what it is like elsewhere, to compare your training with those abroad, and also to learn more techniques that you can bring back home. We also know that it's not just capacity that is being built. When you go abroad, your parents' pockets are also being built. The nation is also being built. Our prayer is that not everyone will go. Some will still stay behind to provide service to your dear parents and your teachers. To the lecturers and the faculty members who are involved in training these inductees, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to you and appreciate your dedication and commitment. And I say that the Lord too will build your own houses and give you joy in all that you do. And finally, to our parents, I don't know what it is like in your hearts now, but I can imagine that butterflies are flying, and you are thinking back of the first day you brought this child to this university. Ours is a fee-paying university. It's not like the normal public school. So I know that it's taking something out of you. And I pray that your commitment will be rewarded greatly by the grace of God. And I also say that when you see these children, they will give you joy. They will make you happy. And you shall reap the fruits of your labor. On behalf of management and the entire university, I want to thank our students who have been able to stay true despite all odds. I know it was not easy. You had nights that you had to read and you were not feeling like reading. You had times that you felt like leaving the university and doing something else. And you wondered how much do they even pay actually. Your colleagues are doing some other things that you don't have to put in so much effort, and it gets much more. But because of your commitments, you stayed true. I pray that God will reward these commitments, and that you look back and be grateful that you stayed true. And so, I want to declare this induction open. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma. There is something I am sure you will have noticed while the VC was talking to us. Soft-spoken, meticulous in our choice of words. I tell people that almost all professors I've seen in this school have demonstrated one thing. They know how to couple their knowledge to development. In all their actions, you will see elements of what they have studied and truly that they are professing. To be a professor of pediatrics and child health, you will show it that truly you are a mother. And that was exactly what we just witnessed, the way the Vice Chancellor spoke to all of us. I must not fail to mention something. When she got to the point where she was saying that I know some of you will stay, some of you will go, and then I looked towards the parents. There was this smile, this mischievous smile, that this Vice Chancellor does not want our children to japa. Okay, the truth of the matter is that we need them here as much as they need them abroad. But charity, they say, begins at home. First affect us positively before stepping out of the shore of Nigeria. Again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the Vice Chancellor for that beautiful speech. At this point, we are going to do something very critical. We have invited an erudite scholar from Obafemi Awolowo University, the man who has seen almost all the things you need to see in this field, locally and internationally, to talk to us so that it can further open our eyes to the prospect of physiotherapy and things we need to do with it. Ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of the Vice Chancellor, I want to crave your indulgence to ask the guest lecturer to please stand. And sir, please come to this side.
Citation of Professor Rufus Adedoyin. Professor Rufus.
Now the electronic citation of the lecturer.
Citation of Professor Rufus Adedoyin. Professor Rufus Adedoyin graduated from Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Ile-Ife, in the year 1992. He bagged a master's degree in 1999 and his PhD in the year 2006, all from the same university. He went further to bag a master's in business administration in the year 2021. Professor Rufus Adedoyin joined the OAU institution as an academic staff in the year 1999 1995. Since his advent into academic, Professor Rufus Adedoyin has shown himself to be a great scholar, a seasoned academic, administrator, and a prolific writer. Professor Rufus has over 250 published papers, Google Scholars, 52 high index, 77,482 citation, majority of which are in reputable national and international journal, including Lancet. Professor Rufus Adedoyin has served as the chief course coordinator, head of department for 7 years, vice dean 2 years, acting dean 6 months, and dean for good 4 years. Professor Adedoyin was a member of the governing council of the Obafemi Awolowo Teaching Hospital between the year 2017 to the year 2021. He also served as a governing member of the Medical Rehabilitation Therapist Board of Nigeria between 2018 to the year 2022. Professor Adedoyin has presented over 60 scholarly papers both at local and international level, especially in the United Kingdom and the United States. He is a recognized expert in the field of cardiopulmonary physiotherapy. Professor Rufus Adedoyin was appointed as an honorary cardiopulmonary physiotherapist consultant by the management of the Obafemi Awolowo University Hospital Complex, Ile-Ife. That was in the year 2007. Adedoyin is the first Nigerian and the third African to receive the award of International Fellow in Respiratory Care by the American Respiratory Care Foundation and Association of American Respiratory Care in the year 2008. This prestigious award was due to his outstanding publications and contributions to the area of respiratory care. This program took him to various hospitals in Washington, D.C., North Carolina, and California as an international fellow to observe and to contribute to respiratory care. This outstanding work in the area of cardiovascular health has also made the World Heart Federation to enlist him as one of the emerging leaders in the cardiovascular disease prevention in the year 2015. Adesoji is the founding president of the Association of Clinical and Academic Physiotherapists of Nigeria between 2016 to 2020. Adedoyin is indeed a great asset to the physiotherapy profession. He has served as external examiner to various institutions such as University of Ghana, Bayero University Kano, University of Maiduguri, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, University of Benin, Widemas University Ede, Lead City University Ibadan. He also served as an external examiner to other universities in Nigeria, including University of Ibadan, University of Lagos, University of Nigeria Nsukka, Bowen University Uwo, University of Medical Sciences, UNIMED, Ondo City, Nigeria, and the Western Cape University, South Africa. It is on record that Professor Rufus Adedoyin, while he was serving as Dean of the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences between 2017 and 2021, he established clinical audiology and human nutrition and dietetics undergraduate programs and also established the Department of Nutrition Dietetics. Adedoyin is a philanthropist of great repute. He has raised funds for St. Mary Rehabilitation Center, Ipetumodo, organizes New Year party for physically challenged people in Ile-Ife. Professor Adedoyin has given scholarship to many students, sponsored annual peace football competition. He also has sponsored 3 youth players to Europe for professional football. Professor Adedoyin is presently building a 26-room hostel to be donated to the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife, free of charge. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a renowned Professor Rufus Adedoyin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We may be seated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Vice Chancellor Professor Adedoyin, I doff my hat for you. And let me stand on this existing protocol to save time. I want to recognize one of my senior colleagues in the House, Mrs. Olaseyide. You are duly welcome and recognized. The theme of this speech, I'm going to read my speech today. Physiotherapy, a changing world, building a career of impact. And I'm deeply honored to stand before you
today are the 5th induction ceremony of the graduates of the University of Medical Science Ondo, conducted by the Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Board this day, 24th of November 2025. University of Medical Science Ondo's Limited, established in 2014 following the signing of its funding bill into law by Governor Olusegun Mimiko, received official recognition from the National University Commission in April 2015 as the first specialized medical university in Nigeria and the third in Africa. UNIMED has continued to set remarkable standard since the appointment of the pioneer Vice Chancellor Professor Friday Okolofa in March 2015. The newly past Vice Chancellor Professor Adedoyin further advanced the vision of the institution by bringing physiotherapy and other rehabilitation programs into the national prominence. Its notable achievements include the establishment of Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation, the first of its kind in Nigeria, which houses innovative programs such as audiology, occupational therapy, prosthetics, and orthosis, and also hold the distinction of being the first institution in Nigeria to admit successfully graduate the leading set of students in the traditional Doctor of Physiotherapy program. They have already graduated the first set. I'm confident that the current Vice Chancellor, Professor Adedoyin, will continue this legacy of excellence and even surpass the remarkable contributions of our predecessors. I consider it a great honor to be invited to speak to you today. Today marks an important day in your life, the graduates. Here is the beginning of a journey. To get to this point was an important achievement in itself, to which I commend you. Graduation is about ending and beginning, a celebration of achievement and the commencement of a transition to a different chapter in life. This is indeed the moment of you have been waiting and praying for. Now is your moment of joy and celebration. I congratulate the proud parents for witness this success of your children. I pray that you shall all eat the fruit of your labor in Jesus' name. Let me briefly narrate to this audience the issue of physiotherapy in Nigeria. The issue of physiotherapy in Nigeria was traced back to the British Charter of Physiotherapists in 1945, who were employed by the government of Nigeria and attached to the Royal National Orthopedic Hospital, Lagos. They were employed not only to treat the wounded and disabled Nigerian soldiers during the Second World War, but also to start a training program in physiotherapy. They started a 3-year diploma course, and the graduates were designated as assistant physiotherapists. They were specially asked to work strictly under the supervision of chartered physiotherapists who had trained in England. The training program of the body was later stopped, while Bachelor of Science degree in physiotherapy at the University of Ibadan was later commenced in 1966. Thus, the University of Ibadan was the first in Nigeria and West Africa to award a degree in physiotherapy. In 1971, University of Lagos commenced a 3-year diploma program, which was later upgraded to Bachelor of Science degree in 1977. University of Ilefe, now Obafemi University at Ilefe, started a 4-year Bachelor of Medical Rehabilitation and award Bachelor degree in Medical Rehabilitation. The program award degree in physiotherapy and occupational therapy. The occupational therapy course did not start until 2006. The University of Nsukka, Nigeria also commenced a degree program in 1987. There is also a training program at the Federal School of Physiotherapy, Kano, affiliated with the Bayero University, Kano. Training program has been commenced at the
Professor Maiduguri, Nandi Asikwe University, Navy. In the last decade, several institutions, including private and state institutions, have commenced physiotherapy program. Professor Benin is the first federal government university institution that started physiotherapy program in South-South geopolitical zone of Nigeria. I want to congratulate the Vice Chancellor and the entire staff of Medical University for being the first set of university to commence a 6-year program in doctor of physiotherapy. We now have over 60 universities offering physiotherapy program in Nigeria. There is no doubt that you all went through a better and standard program, better than some of us that went through 4-year program, and there have been lots of improvement with the introduction of some new courses. We also enjoy the service of many experienced teachers, of which many of them are senior academic professors, such as Professor J. Balogun, Professor B. Adedoyin, Professor Olugbe, Professor Joao, Professor Kayoboke, and others. Your generation is also blessed with information and communication technology, where you can use your phone or computer to access academic information without stress. We didn't have such opportunity during our time. I remember my set of class of 1992. The wind of brain drain took all our lecturers away from Nigeria, and said late Emeritus Professor V.C. Benuga. He was the only lecturer that was left behind. He became a foreman of the department, teaching almost all the courses from part 1 to 4. I actually supervised my own final year project because the man could not cope supervising 25 students. But the shortcoming in our education did not limit our potentials. We have to build on the foundation we received. Today we can look back and celebrate our achievements. Let me now take a few minutes to share some personal experience in my professional life that may be useful to you. I was studying fishery and wildlife at the Federal University of Technology Akure Ondo State when I got transferred to medical option program at the Obafemi University in Ife. My role model is Professor J. Balogun, an outstanding researcher and scholar. He only taught me in part 3 before he traveled back to the United States of America for greener pasture. Immediately I joined the academics. I really contacted Professor Balogun for mentoring, but he was too busy to offer me the help I needed. An idea came to me to be replicating his past studies. I chose one of his studies for my MSc program. I was confident that I have done a great job. When it was time for the defense, 2 extra examiners were usually appointed for any academic staff running master degree program at OAU. Both Professor Adedoyin and Professor Adedoyin were appointed to be my external examiners. We all know that students used to get background check of the external examiners to know the type of person he or she is. So I did a background check and I realized that previously I was too tough as an examiner. I therefore resorted to prayer that she should not have time to come for the examination. Behold, my prayer was answered. She called my HOD few days into the examination that she will not be able to come because of for the examination due to fuel scarcity. I felt relieved, but when the examination guided the examination were checked, it was noted that all the 2 examiners must be present for the examination to hold, otherwise the examination will be postponed. I immediately changed my prayer point that God should allow her to come, but that God should touch her heart for my favor. The day came and I was faced with two powerful excellent examiners. As predicted, it was Venezuela that tore my paper apart. She, however, pointed out my mistakes with calmness. I was surprised to the level of her love and understanding. I believe God has touched her heart. The good news is that I passed the examination, but only left with several corrections to be made. The way my studies was criticized made me to go back to the drawing board, and I did a self-directed study to master all the areas of my deficiency. At the end of the day, I have become one of the leading researchers worldwide. I'm happy to let you know that I've published over 250 papers in reputable journals. I have 8 index of 51, citation of 71,500 in Google Scholar, and I published over 20 papers in Lancet. I was rated one of the best 2% scientists in the world in 2023. My colleagues, your graduation is a journey, a beginning of a new phase of life. Don't be satisfied with the level and don't rest in your house. You must project to the future and aspire to be for greater height. Physiotherapy is now a long life career where you can progress smoothly to be at the top. We have record of physiotherapists who have served as commissioner, directors, deans, deputy vice chancellor, etc. The personal competencies that got to here, passion, excitement, tenacity, open mind to learning will be important through your lives. As Albert Einstein said, education is not the learning of fact, but the training of mind to think. You must think positively and build a good future for yourself. During a validity program in my secondary school, a teacher delivered a lecture said, "These boys and girls that you are seeing today, in the same years, it's a long time, some of them will become lawyers, engineers, doctors, professors, and some will be messengers." Interestingly, it happened just as the man said. This is the reason why we must think outside the box in order not to be left behind. Even though the image of physiotherapy, let me skip that. The world you are entering as a professional is not the same world that existed when you began this training. The 21st century has defined the rapid technological advancement, global health changes, and shifting patient expectation. Artificial intelligence and digital physiotherapy are redefining how we assess and treat patients. Telephysiotherapy has become a necessary, not an option, allowing us to reach patients beyond hospital walls. Global health crises such as COVID-19 pandemic have revealed how essential therapy are to resilience and recovery, both in the ICU and the communities. And more recently, the growing burden of non-communicable disease, aging population, and sedentary lifestyle have placed physiotherapy at the forefront of preventive and palliative health care. In this changing world, adaptability is not just an advantage, it's a survival skill. The physiotherapy of today must be as comfortable with technology as with manual therapy, as fluent as research, as responsibility, and committed to lifelong learning as to clinical practice. Building a career of impact, but beyond adapting to changes lies in the great calling to build a career of impact. Impact is not measured by the number of patients you treat, but by the number of lives you transform. It is not in how many letters follow your name, but in how much hope you inspire and how much value you have to the life of your client. Engage in research. Evidence-based practice is a livelihood of our profession. Contribute to the knowledge, to the body of knowledge. Let your question lead to discovery that future of physiotherapy practice in Africa and beyond. Advocate for professions by the voice of physiotherapy where it is least understood. Educate community, influence health policy, and collaborate with other professionals. The utility and value of our profession depend on the courage of those who speak for it. Mentor and inspire others. As you rise, lift others. Your journey should not end with your success. It should multiply through people you inspire and you empowered. A call to purpose. Dear guardian, the world needs more than skilled hand. It needs compassionate heart and visionary mind. In every experienced world, the Education Center and Community Outreach, remember this: you are not merely treating nurses, you are restoring purpose, not just improving mobility, but the kindly hope. As you take this oath, let it remind you that physiotherapy is not just a career, it's a calling to serve humanity, closing in this changing world, but adaptable. In your professional journey, be excellent in your impact on others. Be unforgettable. Congratulations once again, and welcome to the noble profession of physiotherapy, where science meets compassion, and where your hand become instruments of healing and hope. As I said by Henry Keller, every person you meet every day knows something more than you. So learn from others what you do not know. It is time for you to forgive all your teachers that you may perceive as your enemies. They are only trying to build you for the future. You will soon realize, appreciate what you have gained when you get out there to compete with others from different professional backgrounds. My hearty congratulations to all the inductees and to parents and family who has made provision for your needs and education so that you can live a better life, healthier and more prepared in life. Once again, I want to thank the institution for inviting me to speak with this graduating set of 2025. I wish the graduating set a brighter career and fulfilling life ahead. I wholeheartedly welcome you all to the physiotherapy profession. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Don't worry. We are still coming to what you are about doing. Now we have listened to Professor Adedoyin. Know that for the first time, I saw a physiotherapist who is also very good at storytelling. Okay. I was sharing with people down here that this man appears to be a very good storyteller. And I later told myself, but it's from Ife. So what else do I expect from somebody from Ife? Now I'm not just saying Ife as an institution, but from the source itself. And he took us on a journey of what he experienced as an undergraduate, even as a postgraduate student. He showed us that journey, and I was looking at people's eyes. Nigerians, we love stories. Tell them something is about to happen, then they will say, what is it? And he told that story. But what is striking about this story is that he used the story to actually answer one critical question that the Vice Chancellor raised. Would you be staying or would you be running? He has used storytelling to make somebody like me to become interested in physiotherapy. And luckily they are just 59. I will join you without going through the procedure. I will be the 60th person today. And I'm sure even the VC will give me the certificate. Okay, so I've joined you. I am number 60. And the other thing we did also was to let us know the prospects of physiotherapy, opportunities that are abound in our society and even beyond this society. And he didn't stop there. He became a motivational speaker at a point, telling us, look, don't be discouraged. Don't let activities happening around you deter you. You have what it takes. And he now paraphrased that philosophy in South Africa, the Ubuntu philosophy, that as you rise, ensure that you also lift others, because you are because of others, and others also exist because of you. And you wrapped up like a pastor, saying that he's a pastor. Amazing. So I'm not surprised again. Okay? The way he concluded is that for your lecturers who have offended you one way or the other, please forgive them. There is no better message that we need at this point other than message of forgiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I want us to put our hands together for this elder scholar, for the kind of speech he has given today. He has done justice to the topic. We say a big thank you to you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And for this event, not to just be all talk alone. Remember when I started, I said this is a day of celebration. As we celebrate, also we are reflecting and acknowledging the profound responsibility ahead of you that you will face in this job. At this point, I want us to pause a bit, celebrate you by calling on the university band. In the next 5 minutes, they are going to be performing and playing some good songs so that we know that indeed we are in celebratory mood. Let's put our hands together for the best university band you can find anywhere in the world. Thank you very much. When I described them as the best university band in the world, now you just saw the evidence. I thought you would give them another round of applause for that beautiful rendition. Right now, before that, a quick housekeeping. I want Mr. Oloruntoba Oluwaseun, the University of Medical Association of Physiotherapy President, to please come to the front. You don't have to hide. Where is Mr. Oloruntoba Oluwaseun? Sir, please come to the front. If you are in the hall, whenever he comes in, your seat is reserved here. It was your applause that made me to look to this side, and I saw a fine gentleman coming as Mr. Oloruntoba Oluwaseun. You look good. That's nice. A round of applause for him one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to listen to the address by the MRTBN Registrar, Professor Ahmad Rufai, ably represented here this morning by Mr. Adedoyin Michael Akinyele, the Deputy Registrar.
Vice Chancellor, dignitaries on the high table, please kindly permit me to stand on the existing protocol. First and foremost, I apologize for the absence of my registrar. He is unavoidably absent because he is presently engaged in another national assignment. That is why he is not here. So I will read his speech. Speech delivered by the registrar, CEO, the Medical Rehabilitation Therapist Registration Board of Nigeria, at the 5th induction ceremony of the Department of Physiotherapy, Faculty of Medical Sciences, Nigeria Road, Ondo State, on the 24th of November 2025. I'm glad to preside on the oath taking and induction exercise of these noble graduates of this citadel of learning. To God alone be the glory, for it is considered a privilege to have started and be counted among those at the finishing lines today. You will agree that only the end justifies the means. It is therefore not out of place if we return all glory to God for the provision of knowledge, guidance, and protection of life during the course of your study in this institution. Congratulations to the parents, guardians, uncle, nephew, siblings, and well-wisher, and the soon to be inducted graduates. I see that your joy knows no bound. Have you done all possible to encourage and ensure that your words turn out well as they have done today? I rejoice with you and pray that you reap the benefits of your efforts on the children. I especially want to commend and appreciate the Vice Chancellor and the management of this citadel of learning, the tireless effort of the Provost, great institution, for their contribution and unwavering dedication towards the training of physiotherapy program. You have patiently and meticulously nurtured today inductees from novices to fully qualified professionals. For the purpose of introduction, the Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Board of Nigeria is a parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Health that regulates the training and the practice of 7 different professions in the health sector in Nigeria. We regulate physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, prosthesis and orthotics, audiology, chiropractic medicine and osteopathic medicine. These are the professions we regulate, and we are established by an Act of Parliament known as Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Act, from where we derive our statutory responsibility. Some of our statutory responsibilities are to determine the standard of knowledge and skill to be attained by anybody that wants to practice a medical rehabilitation profession in Nigeria. We raise those standards from time to time as circumstances may permit. We accredit training institution, because without accreditation of training institution, we will not induct the student from that institution. It's because you know that's the board accreditation. That is why we are here to carry out this exercise. So lastly, we also induct fresh physiotherapy graduates into the profession of physiotherapy. Dear inductees, it is my desire that as you take the oath today to join the noble profession physiotherapy, you do not stop learning, as practice will require to remain abreast of current trends in the profession. Therefore, you make yourself available for advanced knowledge in physiotherapy and take part in continued professional development. This invariably suggests that beyond the knowledge garnered from the 4 walls of your classroom, there is a need for you to seek more on the current trend, especially in the digital or telemedicine practice as it concerns your profession. Dear Boss Accredited Continued Professional Development Program, please avail yourself of the opportunity that will be available to you to develop yourself. Get yourself credible mentors within and outside the profession. Respect and uphold the ethics of practice. Today, by your induction, you have made a decision to a noble profession that you may have to wear the label throughout your life. From this day forward, you will now be known and addressed as a physiotherapist. Therefore, I implore you to respect the weight of the physiotherapy practice you are about to take today. And please be focused, considerate, and empathetic to your patient as you lift a part of the burden of suffering a fellow human being. Physiotherapy is a noble profession. Some people strive for it to attain nobility. Ensure you also strive enough to make it nobler than you make it. Therefore, you must put to effective use what you have learned, and you must learn to serve the community appropriately through your profession, physiotherapy. May at this juncture reiterate that physiotherapy internship program is a compulsory part of your training process and must be done for a period of 12 calendar months. For no reason, purpose or excuse should you attempt it twice. For no purpose, reason or excuse should you attempt internship twice. Attempting such is severely punishable by law. I therefore charge you to remain law-abiding and respect the rules as you will swear today. For your information, the board MRTBN is in alliance with National Youth Service Corps on fight against quackery. So you must therefore proceed, before you proceed for your National Youth Service Corps, you must change your provisional license that you are giving you today to professional license. Otherwise, you will be sent back. Once again, I congratulate you and pray for you to continue to find grace for exploits in life, so as to make the needed difference and enhance medical rehabilitation in Nigeria in good light to the world. I believe in you. I therefore advise you to be good ambassadors of this profession and do things that will bring credit to you, your family, the institution, the profession, and the board at large. Finally, as you commence your journey into this noble profession, I wish you a brilliant, fulfilling career in your chosen profession and pray for God's favor in all your future endeavor. Thank you all and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Let's put hands together for the representative of MRTBN Registrar. Thank you so much. It appears almost all the speakers here today turn to pastors towards the tail end. He has also offered supplication on behalf of the inductees. May God answer our prayers. Amen. Right now, we are going to be doing presentation of inductees to the Dean, Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation. And this is the approach we are going to adopt. 2 presentations at a time. As soon as the HOD is done presenting the inductees to the Dean takes over immediately and presents the inductees to the registrar for admission of oath. May I call on the HOD, Dr. Afolabi, to please present the inductees to the Dean, Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, the Vice Chancellor. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. With the permission of the Vice Chancellor, I will ask the prospective inductees to rise as they hear their name. As you hear your name, you stand as you hear your name. Don't come to the front, so as you hear your name, you stand. Okay, because of time, all the inductees should rise up on their feet. The graduates has fulfilled the necessary requirements in character and learning to be inducted into physiotherapy profession. They are hereby handed over to the Dean for further administration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the head of the department. I would not like to disrupt the established protocol, so I'm standing on it. On behalf of the management of the university, under the leadership of Professor Adedoyin, I hereby present these inductees to the registrar of the MRTBM, so they are so presented.
Thank you, the dean and the other departments. First and foremost, be the head of department call you inductees. You are prospective inductees. You are not yet inductees of Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Board because the deed has not been done. You have not read the oath. Even after reading the oath, you have not appended your signature. So, because you still have the opportunity to back out. So, you are not yet inductees. So, I will refer to you as prospective inductees. First and foremost, may I congratulate you. Congratulations. So, today is a special day. It's a day of joy, a day to rejoice. It's not easy. The first day you enter into the University of Medical Sciences, you entered as novices, but now you are qualified professionals. As the registrar said in his speech, this is an important assignment that must be done, because without this assignment, you cannot proceed to the next stage in the practice of physiotherapy profession. But in our board, we have some tradition during induction exercise. If you look at today, many individuals had contributed immensely toward making today a reality. It can be your dad, your mom, your uncle, even the university that gave you the platform that admitted you to this university. So we need to appreciate them. So we are going to begin with a bow of appreciation. And when you bow, you stay. A time is coming that I will ask for bow and go. But now we bow and stay. But when the time comes for anyone that wishes, that want to bow and go, the opportunity will come. So we are going to take 4 major bows. As you are facing the dignitary on the high table, after a count of 3, you take 1 major bow, then you take 90-degree turn to face that side. You take another major bow, then you take another 90-degree to face the audience here. You take another bow, then you take another 90-degree to take the last bow. Then you face me. You understand? And I believe as a physiotherapist, you should be able to bow very well. The range of motion your cervical spine is full. There's no cervical spine hypermobility. So you should be able to do it after a count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Yes. Let's applaud them. Take 90-degree turn. 90-degree turn. 1, 2, 3, go. Another bow. Let's give them a big round of applause. That's good. Another 90-degree turn. 1, 2, 3, go. That's good. Take the last 90-degree turn. 1, 2, 3, go. That's good. Yes. Now face me here, and let's continue with the practice. Now, as I've told you, without internship training program, because it's an extension of your training, is very important, and we are mandated to carry out this exercise. Now you have your oath with you. That oath supposed to be 3, is in triplicate. So you take your oath, take it by your left hand. Take the oath by your left hand, then you place your right hand with your hypotenuse eminence right on your chest over your heart. Then you read after me. When I mention the word I, you call your name in full to the hearing of everybody. When I mention the word I, you mention your name in full. I. Again, I. Again, before the members of the Medical Rehabilitation Therapist Board of Nigeria and this August Assembly formally seek most sincerely the permission of the Medical Rehabilitation Therapist Board of Nigeria to practice the profession of physiotherapy. I hereby solemnly swear to the following oath of physiotherapy practice. I will render physiotherapeutic services irrespective of nationality, race, culture, creed, ethnic group, political affiliation, or social status. Based on my clinical assessment and ultimate professional decision on treatment procedures, I will render my patients the best assistance I can to my best ability in the curative, preventive, therapeutic, rehabilitative aspect of physiotherapy. At all times, I will maintain the highest standards of professional knowledge and skill. At all times, I will maintain the highest standard of professional knowledge and skill. Again, at all times, I will maintain the highest standard of professional knowledge and skill. I will hold or keep in confidence all personal information entrusted to me or the record kept thereof by my patients and other colleagues. I will always cooperate with and respect the dignity of physiotherapy colleagues and other members of the health team with which I have to interact with in the practice of my profession, physiotherapy. As relevant in any period in time, I shall only seek a just, deserved, and appropriate remuneration for the physiotherapy services which I offer. As a citizen of this country, I will always abide by the law of the land and respect its constitution. I will abide by the regulation of the Medical Rehabilitation Therapist Board of Nigeria and the Code of Professional Conduct and Ethics of Physiotherapy Profession. By all means, I will give full support and participate actively in Physiotherapy Professional Association. So help me God. A big round of applause. Now, listen to me. You have the oath with you. I want you to go through that oath again. So if there is any of you that feel that is not ready to abide, because physiotherapy is a regulated profession. If you feel, because when I was reading this, I said at all times I will maintain the highest standard of professional knowledge and skill. If you feel that is too stringent for you, you cannot maintain the highest standard of professional knowledge and skill, you are not ready to seek a just and deserved remuneration, you are not ready to abide by the rules and regulation that will come out for the practice of physiotherapy profession, you are not ready to practice in a non-discriminatory manner, this is the time for you. You are not ready to keep in confidence all information interested in your care. So if there's any of you at this particular juncture that feel that is not ready to abide by this oath of physiotherapy practice, before you append your signature is just a paper. Is no longer a legal training, but by the time you append your signature on it, so because we are going with a copy, we are going with 2 copies of each to the board, it will be in your file, so that if any of them misbehave, we use it against you. So I want you to go through it. If you feel you are not ready to continue practicing our medical profession physiotherapy, because we need people that will add mobility to the profession. What you have to do is just come forward, you take one major bow, then you exit the hall laterally. Yes, I'm waiting. So what I ask you to do is go through that oath very well. Go through the oath meticulously. You have not appended your signature, because by the time I start to tell you the regulation concerning your internship training program now, you will know that physiotherapy is a regulated profession. So I give you 2 minutes to do that. If you have any of you that want to back out at this point in time from practicing physiotherapy before you append your signature, your time starts now. You have 2 minutes. Vice Chancellor and other dignitaries on the right table. The prospective inductees, they are resolute and they want to continue practicing this noble profession of physiotherapy. Let's give them a big round of applause. A big round of applause. Now, take your pen and append your signature on the 3 copies. Append your signature on the 3 copies. We are going with 2 copies, you hold 1 copy. After that, you have to consolidate that oath. So, if you are a Christian, you put your hand on the Bible, then you say it to the hearing of everybody, so help me God. Then if you belong to Islam, you do the same thing. You put your hand on the Holy Quran and you say, so help me God. And in between the Christianity and Islam, there will be another person at the middle. So if you do not belong to Christianity, you do not belong to Islam, you touch the person in between and you say the same thing, so help me God. In some institutions they use echo class. So HOD.
Join them. No?
join them. Be at the middle. This is Holy Quran, then this is Bible. So in between the two, if you don't belong to any of the religion, you touch the person at the middle and you say, "So help me God." Please, Vice Chancellor and dignitaries on the right table, as they are doing that, I want them to tap wisdom, blessing from the elders in the profession. So please, you be on your feet. So you will come, you touch whatever you profess, then Mrs. Olasun, you can also join them as another in the profession. You want them to tap blessing, to tap wisdom from you. You come like this, you touch whatever you profess, then you come like this. Then you take one oath, then you give us two of the other oaths. Listen to me. You take one oath, then you give the remaining two. You give it to me here. So you come like that. The dignity of their tables, you can please be on our feet. So when they come, you can shake hands with them. If it is not a base of religious or below, you can hug them. You can even nod. Anyway you want to impact wisdom, blessing into them. So come like that. Then the DJ, give us music. You say, "So help me God." Go back to your seat. Go back to your seat. Go back to your seat. Make sure you give me 2 copies of your oaths. table. You can see that. Yes, lucky inductees. I want to tell you now the regulations guiding internship training program in physiotherapy. I do not ask you to sit down. You have just appended your signature and you have consolidated it. Now, I want you to listen to me very well. That is why I ask you to look at that page. If you think you cannot continue with it. So I want to tell you some of the regulations guiding physiotherapy internship training program. By today, you will be given a list of 59 approved institutions for internship training program. Presently, we have about 59 institutions that have been approved for physiotherapy internship training program, both private and public. Under no circumstances, I repeat it again, under no circumstances must you go and do your internship outside those 59 approved institutions. If you do that, the board will not license you to practice. You go to the 59 approved training institutions that have been approved by the board. If you see any advertisement and that institution is not in the list, you can get back to the board to confirm the status of that institution. If you do your internship in an approved clinical setting, MRTB will not license you to practice. Then internship is an extension of your training. During your internship, you must not play truancy. You must always be at your place of primary assignment. And you are not
because these are just an extension of your training. You must always be at your place of primary assignment. The board has an offices all over the 6 geopolitical zones. You can issue 12 calendar months is for 12 calendar months,
not for 3 months, not for 6 months. It's for 12 calendar months. And you must not attempt it twice. Because I have presided over the cases of about 2 or 3 that because of economic reasons went and do internship twice. So the penalty is that you refund the money, then you do humanitarian service for that hospital for 6 months before you license you to practice, because it's an act of dishonesty. You do internship once, you come and change your provisional license to professional license, you go for your service, and you continue practicing the profession. Don't do internship twice. And where you are doing your internship, you rotate through the available areas of specialization. 10 areas have been approved for physiotherapy. You have orthopedics and musculoskeletal, pediatric physiotherapy, physiotherapy in women's health, cardiopulmonary, geriatric physiotherapy, community and palliative, sports, interventory, then you have neurology and mental health. So you rotate through minimum of 5 wherever you are doing your internship. So at the end of your posting, you must, before you finish that posting, you must present a seminar. I'm telling you this because by the time they send us your logbook, if those things are missing there, we have some that we have returned their logbook to them, that they should go back and sort it out. You must present a seminar in each of the area before you move to another specialty, and the head of that unit must also sign you So at the end of your internship, the CMD or CMAC or the representative of the hospital will sign you out and they send your logbook to us in the board. Without your logbook, we will not license you to practice because it's an evidence for us. Then another thing I want to tell you is that make sure you respect the elders in the profession, respect the senior colleague, and respect the regulatory body, which is Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Board of Nigeria. Beware of your comments, especially on social media. Something happened 3 years ago to one of the registrants on social media. They were just discussing and he made comments. He said, "Use MRTB. I don't know them. They don't know anything. They are toothless bulldog." That is what he said on the social media. So we saw it, we printed it out, we put it at the back of his file. We returned the file. So a year after, he had the opportunity to travel out. And one of the conditions is that he must have a letter of good standing. So it is that board that you embarrass on the social media that will not give you letter of good standing. He has forgotten, so I limited on it to the registrar and we constituted a panel that he should come and face the panel. So he has to pass through ethical lecture. That means that he does not have etiquette. So he has to pass through 3 months of ethical lecture, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. He's working in Ogun State. He has to come for that ethical lecture at the board before we will give him that letter of good standing. So you need to be very careful about your comment to the others in the profession, to the physiotherapy profession itself, your regulatory board, and to the senior colleagues. And while doing your internship, you are required to be paid. We have some institutions that will ask you to come and do your internship free of charge. If you are not paid, it will erode your commitment. There's a budgetary provision for internship. So you should go to where you will be paid. Because if you are not paid, you will not be committed. Because I can remember in 2024 when federal government defunded all the 30 regulatory agencies. Staffs were not committed and there's nothing the management can do because they were not paid. So the same thing applies to you. So you should go to where you will be paid for that period of 12 months. Then as you practice the profession, the era of general physiotherapy practice is gone. You must begin to develop the area where you want to specialize. I've told you about 10 areas of specialization. But during your internship, you rotate through all the available areas of specialization. After your NYC, you can begin whether you want to go into sports, whether it is pediatrics, and all the rest. So, as we started with a bar of appreciation, we're also going to end with another appreciation. So, after a count of 3, you take a major bow, then you turn, you take another major bow. 1, 2, 3, go. Please let's give them a big round of applause. Take 90-degree turn. Take another bow. That's good. Another 90-degree turn. Take another bow. Then the last 90-degree. Take another bow. So, Vice Chancellors, now, I've successfully come to the end of the induction exercise. A big round of applause.
Has refused to. Okay, is it working now? Thank you. Please let's put our hands together for the representative of the registrar. Sir, indeed you are a physiotherapist. That was a long one, and for you to stand for that long, it shows how fit you are. We appreciate that job you have done. I was saying something behind the scene. Maybe I should raise it. That when they were reading the oath, at a point I thought they were reading Psalm 119. It was so long that I thought myself, this is the longest oath I've ever seen. Later I now looked at the spelling of physiotherapy again. That even when you pronounce physiotherapy, it's also mouthful. So I should expect that their oath also will be mouthful. You have done a good job. Please a round of applause for him. And let's appreciate the newly inducted physiotherapists. Now we can call them physiotherapists. Thank you very much. At this point, what we will do, two professional associations will be welcoming them to the profession, and they have just 2 minutes to do that. That's 120 seconds. I call on NSP first, represented here by Dr. Adedoyin Oluwabukola Debra. And before all of you, we have an agreement, 120 seconds. And I trust her, she will do a good job. Let's appreciate her one more time.
I'll try my best. Good morning, everyone. I'll be reading a speech from the president of the Nigeria Society of Physiotherapy in person of Dr. Felix Odusoya. My name is Adedoyin Oluwabukola. I'm the chairman of the Ondo State branch of Nigeria Society of Physiotherapy, and I'm glad to be here today. Standing on the existing protocol, I want to thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Eboluwa Adedoyin. Thank you, Ma, for having us today. Also, I want to thank the Dean of the Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation, who happens to be my supervisor in school, Professor Olibode. Thank you so much. I want to thank the Director, the HOD of Physiotherapy Department, my very good friend, Dr. Afolabi. Thank you so much for having me around. I also want to thank the clinicians, the lecturers actually, for producing great students. I was privileged to be part of those that assessed them during the clinical rotation. And I can say that, of the fact, the University of Medical Sciences have produced great graduates. A round of applause for them. They are good. They are very, very good. So, and also I want to appreciate the Director of Physiotherapy, Mrs. Olasendo. Thank you so much. And Dr. Oluwinka Afolabi. They are the head of department of the facilities that the students rotated through. So that's why I have to make reference to that. I go straight to the welcome speech. Sorry, Dr. Felix, this is the 5th induction ceremony lecture of the Physiotherapy Department. The Nigeria Society of Physiotherapy is the umbrella body of all physiotherapists in Nigeria since 1959 and to date. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome the Venitors into the profession of physiotherapy today. You are welcome. Let me congratulate the Vice Chancellor as I have done and the administrative hierarchy of the University of the Medical Sciences Ondo City and the Department of Physiotherapy for delivering this special brand of new latest physiotherapists in the country for the benefits of Nigeria and humanity in general. I must congratulate your parents, the proud parents, as blessed people for witnessing your children's glorious day. Your support and resources spent throughout the various stages of the education are worthy investments, and you will reap the reward thereof. A resounding amen. Yeah. Please let the inductees know that today is the first important step in your life, and I must sound a note of warning at this stage that your achievement comes with huge responsibilities, because lives of fellow human beings will be placed in your hands. To restore health and hope, you must always remember that you are not dealing with machines, you are not dealing with objects,
You are dealing with human beings, and you must treat them as such. The international body, so your due diligence must be made. Your commitment, your composure, your high level of decorum, displaying of competence and professionalism will be expected of you at all times. The way you dress, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself matters in this profession. We must be differentiated, and you must know that. The international body that the NSP belong, the World Physiotherapy Association, states that lifelong learning is the hallmark of a competent physiotherapist. So, with this, I've summarized everything, and therefore, it's imperative to let you know that you must continue to educate yourself and acquire more knowledge, skills, by way of attending relevant scientific trainings, conferences to remain relevant in the field. Long live Nigeria Society of Physiotherapy. Long live University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. Long live the state of Ondo State, and long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. Sorry, there is an award. Okay, all right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's becoming increasingly important for me to adapt to the system I'm witnessing today. I gave her 2 minutes. She spent more than 2 minutes. But behind the camera, I'm going to find her. We allow her to go without one. I will still reserve my comment. I'm coming to pass a comment over what you have said. But quickly, let me call the next professional body, the ACAPN, and I'm sure he's going to do his own according to the shortest verse in the Bible. You remember the verse? Just 2 words there. Thank you. A round of applause for him. Please encourage him well so that we can do that in 120 seconds.
What is good for the gander? Yes. Madam Vice Chancellor, I like to still lean on the existing protocol, but I must not do this without due respect to some individuals here. My big brother, Professor Adedoyin, anywhere I am with him, he knows I will respect him. And then our very senior colleague, Mr. Lasende, good afternoon to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here. My name is Professor Adedoyin. I'm standing in to represent the President of Association of Clinical and Academic Physiotherapists of Nigeria, Professor UAC or CAFO. I'm standing here representing him, but I'm also a member of this place. And I think, Madam Fisima, you know I'm on sabbatical here. And I've also been privileged to be part of those who taught the graduates of today at their last phase of training. Thank you. And I can remember that when the registrar or the representative of the registrar was saying that you should forgive some of those lecturers that may have offended you one way or the other. I know you like my swag, but I also may think that some of you that I will not allow to enter my class if your hair is not well combed may not have liked that. I'm sure you remember that. But I'm also happy that the registrar has also told you that you should comport yourself very well. 2 good attributes of the professional is by looking and sounding professional. And I don't go anything below that. All the same, I want to congratulate the parents of today, first of all, for seeing your wards graduating today and earning the induction of our noble profession physiotherapy, and also to the inductees of today. Professor Okafo has asked me to appreciate the university. In 2023, we were here as a professional body for our annual conference, and it was a good week for us in this university. Please put your hands together for the leadership of this university. We were very well received, and in fact the opening ceremony of that conference took place inside the same hall, and it was very glorious. And I'm sure some of these students were, I think they were in 300 level, 400 level there, and they were the witnesses to it. Also, I also will let the Vice Chancellor to know that I can also testify to the fact that the group of where they are no longer student inductees today are those who have sound knowledge of what they have gone through. After all, I said I was also part of their training. And that they've also participated in the conferences of the Association of Clinical and Academic Physiotherapy of Nigeria. I also double as the director of the Student and Youth Directorate of the association, and I'm the one who actually coordinates the activities. And I can say here that the students of the University of Medical Science have actually been very outstanding in our programs. We usually conduct inter-university competitions among different universities, and UNIMED students have been very good. In 2024, I hosted them in Benin at the University of Benin, which is my primary base, and I think they came, I can't remember the score, but they did very well. And so put your hands together for yourself. So there's no doubt about the fact that the students who have turned to inductees of today are sound inductees who are likely to represent the interests and the ambition of the University of Medical Science, very well. And I'd like to just congratulate you and also to advise that this is just the beginning of another phase of your life. Know that long-term learning is one of the things that a professional should know. Your learning into another phase is just beginning from today, and you should not do anything less than that. Your 1 year of internship training is actually part of your training, so you don't see it as like you have earned professional license and you can become Oga just the same day. Then remember, you can easily transit to the deputy. Your university is also one of those that have had established postgraduate programs. That's University of Medical Science. So you are allowed to come back and do your master's. You can also come to the Institute of Sports Science and Medicine, where I'm also privileged to be appointed as director. So I also welcome you. So congratulations once again, and I pray that the Lord leads you on. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please a round of applause for him. I love the smart way with which he presented his goodwill message. He used time in between to also promote one institution, and that we will see in camera for you to pay for that advert you just did. Okay? But one thing that is common to the two speeches is that it has reinforced the name this class has called themselves. Somebody actually raised the name. It was when you were coming out that I paid attention to the name you have called yourself. And without any doubt, since we started this induction ceremony, you have lived up to that name, and somebody also confirming that even while you were students, you have done exceptionally well. When I saw Venus Stars, I was asking myself again, Latin, at what point are we going to use Yoruba to describe our class? And somebody told me here that in his own set, they call their set Ogbontarigi, always guiding. And I said, that's interesting. But these ones have called themselves Venus Stars. And without doubt, you have exhibited grace. You have displayed charm. And indeed, you have demonstrated beauty in your comportment, in everything you have done today. And I think we need to appreciate them. Even people from outside can confirm that. They are well dressed, and you have represented this school well. I hope you continue in this particular manner. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are getting there little by little. We will soon wrap up this program. In this university, one thing that is also remarkable that we do here is that we don't just recognize excellence, we reward excellence. These people have done well. In the last few years they've been here, and it is time for us not just to recognize their excellent performances, also time to recognize, and this will be in two categories. The various associations here have one thing or the other for one person or the other in this group, and I will call each one. You make your presentation to the person, and then you leave before we come to the father of them all, presentations by the university. I want to call the NSP, represented by Dr. Adedoyin Oluwabukola, and we are doing this together this time. Okay? I will help her read the name, and she will present the award to the person. Give me the certificate. Do this. This is from Nigeria Society of Physiotherapy, Certificate of Excellence, awarded to Olubowode Oluwaferomi Rachel for your excellent performance as the best graduating physiotherapy student of the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo City, Ondo State. So you will present and take your picture. And the proud mother is here. Yeah? Please join. The proud mother, the proud father. Let's celebrate this one. Thank you very much, madam. The next is from ACAPM. Please put your hands together for him as he comes. We are doing it together as well.
It won't take time, don't worry.
1 minute. It's 60 seconds, please.
I didn't take your time.
You did.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to, on behalf of Professor Udoka Chris Okafor, President, Association of Clinical and Academic Physiotherapists of Nigeria, call forward the best graduating student, best overall graduating physiotherapy student at University of Medical Science, and the person of Olubowode Oluwaferomi Rachel for this award. I'd like to call the Madam Vice Chancellor again. Yes. Okay. Let the FUC join. Also, this is also from the President of ACAPIN, Professor Okafor, as an award for the best graduating clinical physiotherapy students, University of Medical Science, Ondo, to be presented to Ilesomi and Oluwapo James. Can you come forward?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now the next association is Neuro Rehabilitation. Mr. Akinshiku Olayiwola.
Standing on the existing protocol, on behalf of Dr. Muyiwa Adejubagbe, the President of Neuro Rehab Academia, we present this certificate of academic excellence to the best graduating students, Olubowode Oluwaferomi Rachel, with a sum of 50,000 naira. our guest speaker to please help us present this to her. Thank you very much, sir.
Now the next award is UMAPS award, to be presented by Mr. Oluwaseun Olorontoba.
On behalf of the second president of UMAPS and the entire body of University of Medical Sciences, the Association of Physiotherapy Students, I want to present this award to Comrade Adedoyin in appreciation for your proactiveness and proficiency in government. Lady Comrade Ashaka Mirabel, Trailblazer Endeavor, so the pioneer Senate Speaker of the Association. I'd like to introduce our advisor to last but not least, we presented to my emeritus president, the pioneer OE1 for the association, Comrade Adedoyin Oluwatosin. I'd like to hear this very
second category. This particular award will be presented by the acting registrar of the university, May I please crave our indulgence to stand as I call the best clinical students. All right. Please pardon us. A slight adjustment to the program. Before we go to the academic awards that we want to do, I learned also that NAPS awards, it is time to celebrate them. We've recognized what they have done. Let's do it the proper way. I call the president of NAPS to please come around, Yekin Abdulaziz, to quickly present the award to them. Please, let's encourage him as he comes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, my name is Comrade Bayode Drojaye from the University of Benin. So, on behalf of the 44th National President, Comrade Yekini Abdulaziz Oluwatobiloba, and the entire Nigerian Association of Physiotherapy Students and Alumni, we have two sets of national awards to be presented to two truly deserving individuals for their exceptional leadership and commitments to the growth of the association. The first on my list, Outstanding Leadership Award, goes to no other person than Comrade Adenuga Joshua Oluwatosin. The award for academic excellence goes to no other person than Olubode Olafemi Rachel.
Moments like this, we have no choice than to observe these moments. They worked for it, and it is time to reward them. Now, as I was saying, for the second category, I was about calling the Registrar Medical Rehabilitation Therapists Board of Nigeria, represented by the Deputy Registrar, Mr. Adedoyin Michael Akinjide, to help us present to the best clinical students. Ilesanmi Anu Aluwapo. also want to respectfully call our guest lecturer for today, Professor Adedoyin, to help us present the next award to the best student in dissertation, Adedoyin Hannah. Stay in the spirit of giving awards. I want to ask our guest lecturer to stand. In this university, where you have done very well, we also reward you. We don't allow a prophet to leave our school empty-handed. We ensure that we give out something. And you all agree with me that the guest lecturer has done an exceptional job today. And I want to call on the Vice Chancellor to please help us present an award of excellence also to our guest lecturer. At this point, it is time for us to celebrate together the biggest masquerade. And when I say the biggest masquerade, it is not easy. This inducted, wow, the highlight of this induction ceremony. That is the moment we have come to. It is the moment of celebrating a sleepless night. It is the moment of celebrating burning of midnight candles, even when it was not convenient for you. You know, in all, you have been awesome. But amidst all, we are still going to find someone who will top the class. At this point, we want to celebrate the overall best student, overall best graduating student, and the CGPA they are giving to me here is also very interesting. Very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, the overall best graduating student with a CGPA of 4.76. And you know, there is something fascinating here. Indeed, this class is special. I'm just checking others too to see the CGPA, and I can see how close. 4.76, 4.74, 4.64. Please, let's put our hands together for these ones. They are wonderful. But we just have to pick someone as the overall best. You are all wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, please let's celebrate. Olúbọ̀rọ̀dé Olúwafẹ́rànmi.
I don't know what's happening. Maybe because I'm a female vice chancellor. I see that the guys are sleeping. I don't mind you sleeping, but the girls are really showing something else. Some years back in this country, you cannot even imagine a woman being in the class. More than half of this class are females. And they've shown that what a man can do, they can do even better. Please give a round of applause to all the females. Thank you so much for making us so proud.
Ma, I think in addition to that, I'm just going through the names given to me. Interestingly, the top three in the class are female. The top three. At least for recognition, please a round of applause for Igbo Mary with 4.74 CGPA and Ilesoni Anuoluwa 4.69. Very close, very close. I just all the awards. Females, what is going on? I know, me, I won't read the rest. I'm already jealous. Best clinical student that we called earlier. Ilesoni Anuoluwa. Best dissertation. Oyediran Anna obìnrin kílódé ẹ pàtẹ́wọ́ fáwọn obìnrin darí. But indeed, behind every successful woman, there is a man. The boys, you are celebrated. You are celebrated. Now, at this point, we will be listening to the valedictorian, and no other person than the one we just celebrated, Olúbọ̀rọ̀dé Olúwafẹ́rànmi. Please a round of applause for her.
The Vice Chancellor, all principal officers, MRCB registrar and delegates of the board and the associations, the dean of our faculty, our head of department, our dedicated clinicians and lecturers, our distinguished guest speaker, then to our beloved parents, families and friends, I greet you all. So first and foremost, I would like to give all glory and honor to Almighty God for the privilege of standing here today as we celebrate this remarkable milestone. Without His grace and mercy, our journey through these demanding yet fulfilling years would not have been possible. I would also like to extend my profound gratitude to our head of department, my supervisor, and the mother to us all, Dr. Adedoyin. Thank you, Ma, for your dedication, your guidance, and your counseling, your countless sacrifices too. It has led us to this very moment. To our dean, thank you, sir, for your visionary leadership and for fostering an environment where we could thrive and excel. Thank you, sir. I also acknowledge our past heads of department, Dr. Tiwa Afolabi, who constantly checked on our well-being. And to Mr. Otipe, Thank you, sir, for always opening the windows of our classrooms and always giving us wise counsel. Thank you for your guidance, sir. To all our lecturers and clinicians, thank you for your patience and your dedication. Your mentorship, both in the classroom and clinic, has been the backbone of our professional growth. Then to Mr. Jalo, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for always being accessible. You knew us by names and our matric numbers. Thank you, sir. It really meant a lot to us. Then, on personal notes, to my own family, especially my mom, my biggest inspiration, and tireless supporter. Thank you, Mom. And to all our families, most especially our parents, we say a profound thank you. Your financial sacrifices, your emotional support, your belief and prayers for us has been what carried us to this very moment. This achievement is as much yours as it is ours. And to everyone present, thank you for sharing this momentous day with us. Looking back, these years were defined by sleepless nights, stressful days, and exams that tested our limits. From the intense transition of 400 level to the final hurdles of 500 level, we faced challenges that sometimes felt overwhelming. But through it all, we persevered. So I would like to give special accolades to those who made this journey brighter. First of all, to our course rep, our leader, Tolu Akintobi. Thank you for your tireless leadership, and our assistants to Mercy, Emmanuel, Marvelous. Thank you for always looking out for us. Then to Esther Akindo. Your notes have been a lifeline for so many of us and it has saved us more times than we could count. Thank you for your dedication. To our pioneer UMAP's president, Adedoyin, thank you for building a platform that connected and empowered us all. To FIB chairman and committee members, thank you for making our final year one to remember. To those who represented our faculty in competitions, sports and academics alike, Mercy, David, Sumishe, Deji, Taiwo, Success, all of you, thank you for making us proud. We are grateful. And to my friends, Mirabel, Favor, Ronke, Sunday, Tudu, Marvelous, Moyo, there's so many of you, I can't mention all of you, I'm sorry. But thank you for the laughter, the unforgettable memories, and the support. These years were defined by teamwork and the camaraderie that only a class like ours could share. So fellow graduates, as we step beyond these familiar halls as licensed physiotherapists, we enter a world that needs us. Our profession sits at a unique intersection: the science of the body and the humanity of the spirit, competence and compassion, knowledge and care. We have learned to assess, diagnose, plan and treat, but beyond the textbooks and beyond the practical skills, we learn something deeper: how to show up for people in their most vulnerable moments. The patients who could barely walk, who were in pain, who trusted us to help them reclaim their movement and their life. So now as we move forward, let us carry two things with us. First, competence, because our patients deserve excellence, they deserve skill, and they deserve our lifelong commitment to learning. And compassion, because healing is not just physical, it is emotional, it is personal, and it is holistic. Life after graduation will not always be smooth. There will be victories to celebrate and challenges that will stretch us quietly. But in those moments, may we remain resilient and hold on to God, not by pretending to be strong, but by learning from our setbacks and taking small, steady steps forward. And just as importantly, may we be kind to our patients, to our colleagues, and to ourselves, because growth takes time. These past years have taught us to work hard, lean on each other, and show up on tough days, and still find reasons to laugh. That mix of strength and softness is what will carry us into the next chapter. So together we are stepping into a future where we do more than treat conditions. We restore movements, dignity, and hope. That is our calling. So today isn't just the end of a journey. It is proof that we survived tests, clinical exams, deadlines, presentations, and whatever that one exam was that tried to finish us. But we made it, we grew, and our journey is just beginning. So now as we turn the page, may we remember these major things: that skill matters, but compassion gives it meaning. Resilience isn't loud, but it's showing up again and again. And that every patient is not just a case, but a life, a story, a human being trusting us to help them heal. So this isn't just graduation, it's the beginning of our impact. Physiotherapy class of 2025! The Masters 25! Congratulations, guys! Thank you and God bless you all.
Please
let's put our hands together for her. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are almost wrapping up. I want to call on the Dean Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation to take this particular exercise for us, the final bows by the newly inducted physiotherapist.
Yeah, thank you so much. Still standing on the existing protocols. Please, the inductees, please, can you please stand up? You are going to take 3 final bows, and these are very, very important. I want you to flex your spine as much as possible as a sign of respect. So the first bow, I want you to look around and check where your parents are and face the direction where your parents are. Because they are so much labored over you. So at the count of 3, I hope you have all located your parents. Please locate your parents. So at the count of 3, you bow, you take a bow to your parents. So 1, 2, 3. A round of applause for them. Yeah. Come back. You were actually trained by some group of faculties, and they are here. So I want you to take about 45-degree turning to your left. And at the count of 3, you take your final bow to the departments and faculty of medical rehabilitation in general. So 1, 2, 3. A round of applause for them. This university has actually contributed a lot to your training. So in view of this, I will say that I was not satisfied with your 2 previous bows. This is now your final bow to the University of Medical Sciences under the leadership of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Adedoyin. So please, spine your flex to 90 degrees. Fully. Show to the university that you have actually been trained well and you have enough flexibility to show respect to the University of Medical Sciences under the leadership of our Vice Chancellor. So at the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Please a round of applause for these inductees. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Be seated. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor of this great university, Professor Adedoyin, fellow Nigeria Academy of Medicine, and other members of the management of the institution, we want to say a very big thank you to you all. The kind of cooperation that you have given to us today for this program to be successful is indeed top-notch, and we do not take it for granted. We thank all the parents in-house, we thank the academic staff, and we thank the newly inducted physiotherapists. We say a big thank you to you, and with that we have come to the end of this program. And please note, for our parents, as you go out there, spread the gospel that you have come to a university that is not like the others, a unique one. We need you all to keep spreading the gospel that this is the envy of other universities in Nigeria. Thank you once again. Please, let's be on our feet as we bring this program to a close by taking the Unimed anthem. And shortly after the anthem, the procession will go out in reverse order. And we encourage you to remain standing until the procession leaves the hall. Thank you very much.